Hi guys, and welcome along to the OS Install. Now, as you can see here, this is the NAS Build finish off. I've got a live USB that I'm just going to insert into the server here. I'm going to get it up and running, hopefully going to boot off of it, and I'm going to install Fedora. Now, for those of you that don't know, Fedora is a Linux distro. It's based off of Red Hat, which is a pro-grade solution. It's completely free to use, which is basically one of the reasons I used it, but it's also a very stable system once it's up and running, which is why I decided I wanted it. So I'm just going into the BIOS there. I've just found the USB and told it to boot off of that first rather than anything else so that we can get it installed. Here come the installation options. So you've got your standard sort of live and run, so to speak, and install. So we're going to try and install it. And we would really be looking for anything to be happening by now. So we've got a bit of an issue here. The USB doesn't want to initialize the ISO file on it. Could be that I used a bad installer from Fedora. They do supply a USB format tool, but I can't tell for certain. So what we're going to do is we'll try again with a USB using a different installer. So let's have a second go at this now. So like I say, take two. We've got the USB back, and we've also got a different installer used. Same ISO file, so it could be an ISO file issue if it doesn't work again. Can't tell for certain. But we've used a different installer anyway, so it all came back and checked out okay, so let's give that bad boy a whirl. And here we go. We can do it. We know it wants to. No. Third time lucky, because we're not going to waste too much time. And bam, here we go. I'm running it off of a disk this time, and a USB CD drive, so that I can actually get in there and do what I need to do. Now, you've got the options. You can go and do the installation, you can do a test media, etc, etc, etc. So, but what we're going to do is get on and actually do some installation on this, because we want to get this up and running as soon as possible so we can start to use it. Now, anyone wondering might be asking, why are you using Fedora and not Ubuntu? I get that the other one's business, but at the same time Ubuntu is brilliant. Basically, I've got no real experience on either one, so I don't have a preference, but I decided to go with Fedora just because of the business aspect of it, which I felt might make it a bit more stable. I am going to be running VMs on this, just so you can tell that's actually installing the software now, so we're finally making some headway with that bad boy. But yeah, so I decided to go for Fedora, plus having the disk made life a lot easier for me. Could have gone Ubuntu, but I felt Ubuntu was a bit more aimed at the sort of domestic market than what I am. So, well, again, that's just my opinion on it all. Nothing wrong with using either one. So anyway, so we're going to install it now. Well, what we're going to do is install it onto the 1TB Raptor drive. I did mention this in a previous video, so you should already be well aware of it. And we're going to keep all the others spare. We're going to use all of those in the NAS once it's up and running. So we're slowly blittering our way through. It takes a little while because that's to copy all the files across, as you can see. And now we're going through and we're actually installing all the different parts of it. You get a few different blips as GPUs are getting installed and processors are getting isolated and then set up and all these other sorts of things. It's quite clever the way these ones work, but as you can see, that we've got it all running effectively. It's all been copied into the RAM now, but we're going to actually go through, put it on the hard drive, and then that way we can take the disk drive away and we don't need to use it. You can, if you want to, install these on USBs and run them off live USBs. I just can't see the point. So anyway, so we go through, we set it up. Obviously, you know, we want it to be set to UK because that is the greatest place in the world. Don't know if you guys are aware of that or not. You may be or you may not be. If you're not, I do apologise, but at least now you know. Anyway, so we've got all our installation media in here. As you can see, all the drives are appearing in here, which is great. But there's only one that we're interested, and it's that one. So we've got to go through and we're going to select how we want it all set up and do a few configuration changes. I did consider encrypting the drive, but I don't really think it's necessary and it will hinder the performance. So, as I'm happy that's the one, I'm going to go for it. Go on. Here we go. Right. So, you know, so you're talking about the fact there is some information on the hard disk. It is second hand, if you will. I mean, it's not second hand, it's mine, but I've used it in other projects, and I'm like, yeah, I know, so it's going to format and erase it. So here we go. Here are all the different partitions in it from previous installs of stuff I've used it for in the past. So what we'll do basically is, focus camera, steady. Here we go. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go and clean it all off and let it do its own thing. Fedora can install however it sees fit. So we can go through and we can check some of the network settings and things. The idea being obviously that I can use it to make sure that the installation is as up to date as possible. So hopefully that should be everything done now. It needs a root password and some user creations. You don't have to create the user accounts, but I did whack in one for me, and obviously I've set a root password. It would be very silly not to set a root password. If you set the same root password, it's even better because you can actually use it. So anyway, so you do need to create user accounts, but that's rather irrelevant at this stage. So let's get on. If you look down the bottom, you can see it is actually installing it now. It's going across. It does take a little while. You've got to bear in mind that it's got to copy all the information off of a CD via the USB 2 onto a hard drive. Then it's got to deal with all the data that's on that. So it's a bit of a faff. But it's not too bad. You know, we can certainly work with it rather than against it. But we'll just let that trundle away now. Anyway, so once this is up and running, I've got a few things to install on it. I'm going to be installing Synology, so stay tuned if you want to see that video, so that I can use my keyboard and mouse to the server, which is going to be next to the main PC. I'm also going to be running some VMs on it. Looks like I'm going to be using VirtualBox. Might go down the VMware route. I haven't decided. I think it's VM Workstation is the free version, so I might use one of those. But again, we'll sort of see as time goes by. Let me know if you've got any preferences on those. But we finished the install now, so that's all done. So with a bit of luck, we can do a little restart and we're away. It's pretty much that simple. Now there are some other bits that you need to check on it, obviously. One of the big things obviously is making sure it's all up to date, because it can download installation updates, but it can't really do proper updates and everything, so that's something we will need to look into. But in the meantime, let's give it a little restart and just check to make sure it all comes up lovely jubbly. And then yeah, then we are almost there. Easy as that. Now I will just ask you to bear in mind I have had to speed this video up because it was pushing on 45 minutes to begin with, so everything you're seeing here is going by a little bit quicker than it actually did for me. And when I say a little bit, I mean a big bit. But it at least gives you guys an overview of what was going on, so you can see and you can sort of, you know, comment on it as you see fit. So like I said, if you think of anything I should have done differently, let me know. And as you can see, look, we're going through all the startup procedure. Here we go. Fedora itself is loading. That's what that little icon there is. Boom! We are in. And we're doing a quick restart. So it does take a few restarts to begin with whilst it's setting up everything, you know, installing all the different cards and all that, loading all the right drivers, because some of them are proprietary and some of them aren't. So it does take a little while, and you have to give it, I don't want to say it's due, but you have to just give it a chance to do whatever it is it feels like it needs to do in the background. Anyway, nearly there. So, on the off chance anybody's interested, it is Fedora 26, it's the newest release. It's been out for a little while now, but it's still being updated on a regular basis. And it should still be supported for a fair while. So, a bit of luck, any security patches that need to be done will be done quite easily. And restarting again. Does this a lot, as you can probably tell. It does create some recovery images for you and things from the very beginning, so if anything does happen to the installation, I can quite easily rebuild it from scratch. Obviously I'm not very keen to rebuild it from scratch, but long term this is going to be in a cabinet, UPS, and hopefully it's never going to get switched off. That's the plan, at least. So we'll see basically whether or not we even need it. I tend to find hard drives are very reliable if you're not shaking them about too much. Okay, so we're still waiting for it to finish loading up. Not too much longer to go though, and then we should be there and we'll be in and we'll be able to actually start using it, as it were. Here we go. Right then, final bit of the load up script, and Fedora's coming to life. So like I said, it takes a few turns just to set it all up and all that. Once it's up and running, it's pretty stable. I've not had any real issues with it at all whilst I've been using it, so I'm happy with it. And here we are, we're on the home page now. Ta-da! I don't know if you guys have used Linux or not, I'd hope so, but it's a pretty clean system. So we can go through and you can set all the different customizations that you want to make, languages, keyboards, privacy stuff, I've left a lot of it to be the defaulted. I mean, I'm not a big fan of privacy stuff, so I don't like them fiddling with it, but as you can see, everything gets done pretty easily. I'm happy for the additional software sources to be used. Some of the stuff you have to use within the VM, so it's pretty handy. And unfortunately, like everything now, it wants to connect you to your account. Jog on. So then about you, you've got to create an account. So I have created an account, and then you've got to set password on your account. It's fine. It's not quite the same as logging in as the root, so I can't do everything from this account. But it also means that if I just want to have a few checks on things, that's the one to use. So here we go. The password is set, and the system is live and ready to go. There's my name and everything. So that was it. It's a nice short video, well, relatively short video for me anyway. Hope you don't mind. That is just a quick one on installing Fedora 26 onto the new NAS server.